Hello, lovely people. How is everybody today? We have our lovely chef Maneet Chauhan with us, and this event is being broadcast live on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for doing this, Maneet, at such short notice. Hey guys, if you have questions, you guys can start typing in the chat box, and I will take your questions one by one. I think just go crazy, be creative. Let's not go with the tried and tested questions like, what was your inspiration? What is your favorite dish? What do you like to bake? No, go crazy. It's like, where did you meet your husband, right?
Honey, did you get my question? I emailed you. Hi,
I
Maneet.
got everything. Yes, Kunal, but I'll let you do the honors of ask. I was actually asking you on Facebook, do you want to ask this question while we are on chat, but you didn't answer.
So my question to Maneet was that, Maneet, as we know, that Indian cuisine India is like European Union or Europe, right? Every state of India is like a European country. And we have Spanish restaurants, we have Italian restaurants, we have French restaurants, we also have British restaurants, or whatever we say about their food. There are many British restaurants. When is the day going to be when we will have a UP restaurant and a Gujarat restaurant, and not just a Indian restaurant, and if for small mercies, you'll have a North or a South Indian restaurant. Regional cuisine in India is big time. It is becoming big in India, but in US, we are not thinking beyond the usual chicken tikka and all that stuff. So what will happen?
I think, Kunal, it's changed a lot since the time at least I came, and since the time even you came, right? We've started having the conversation. There has been a new generation of chefs and restaurateurs who've taken this as a career because they're passionate about it, right? Like with a lot of ethnic cuisine, there was a time when it used to be, it was a means to an end, right? That's why a lot of ethnic food did not have a great reputation, because subpar products were used. The easiest way to cook was used. But I think that's coming a long way. In the US, I think we are already on the right trend. It will take some time. It will take some time. Like, England has incredible restaurants, right? But then there is a place called Pondicherry, which talks about which presents French Indian food in England. But England has had a longer association with Indian food than America has. I do think that there will be more Indian regional restaurants which are going to come up like I have a chaat restaurant in Nashville. I think it's coming. It is going to happen. Voices like yours, mine, we together have to be loud enough and amplify the beauty of Indian food, which, frankly, when I came, when you knew me in Manipal, I did not want to do Indian food because that was pretty much, everybody did that. But coming to America, where you realized how underrepresented Indian food was, it really it lit a fire under my backside to make sure that people see the beauty of Indian food. So yeah, we've got to be loud about it.
Thank you for answering that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, you know that aside from being friends and following you, I have followed a lot of the videos that you have been putting up with you and Shagun, and it's so wonderful to see the two of you cooking together. So I wanted to find out how that's going, and do you feel like she's following in your footsteps?
Oh God, I hope not. I'm going to be the traditional Indian parent and say that she needs to be a doctor or an engineer. No, you know what? I think she's more fascinated with the aspect of being in front of a camera than the actual aspect of cooking, which we see with a lot of young kids who come up and tell me that they want to be chefs. And I'm like, why do you want to be a chef? And the first thing they say is, because I want to be on TV. And I'm like, no, it's the other way around. Be good at what you're doing, then you'll be on TV. So I absolutely put her to work. Every time she comes to the restaurant, there is dishwashing involved. Better get them started young, put good work ethics in them. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be in the kitchen with her. she's got a very quirky sense of humor, and the amount of dad jokes that I get from her is insane.
I love it.
Actual name it is Harminder, but I'm called Meena.
Anybody who's met you is you are the bonus.
Actually, मेरे को ना, when I look at you, I look at myself as when I was young. I used to wear a lot of beautiful jewelry and nice hairstyles.
Times that Maneet should be in the movies.
I
Maneet?
said she's so pretty.
I've been in a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my colleague, I forgot to tell you, my colleague told me about it.
Scripted work is so difficult. It's like, because I'm a very impromptu person, I can talk. Scripted is very difficult.
Chance to go in front of camera because of my beautiful son.
Mama, not beautiful. Come on. She's crazy.
You completely overshadowed him, just to let you know.
I know. So this is turning out to be like a family Zoom. So let's continue the format, right? I mean, Mom. Yeah. Let's ask questions. There's a question from Amin Reen. As a young chef, did you have struggles starting out, and how did you overcome them? What helped you get your career on the map? Was it working for other chefs?
I mean, there absolutely were a lot of challenges, because the time that I decided to be a chef, it really wasn't cool to be a chef. And to top it up, in India, I think we were at that time where, girls had just started working, right? With our parents' generation, my mom was one of the few people who was working. So it was a very interesting time. And again, as I joked earlier, that, growing up in a society, and it was a very small community in where I grew up, where people would be like, oh, you want to work, so you'll be a doctor or an engineer. And if you were really thinking outside the box, maybe an accountant or a lawyer. And over here, I wanted to be a chef. So there were a lot of naysayers. But I was very fortunate that my parents were very, very supportive. They were like, do whatever you want, just make sure that you're the best at it. And that's the mantra that I have held very close to me till date. So it was interesting working in kitchens in India. More often than not, I would be the only girl, in a kitchen of around 70 to 80 men. And the usual questions were like, oh, you're learning how to cook so that you could cook for your husband, because that in everybody's mind was the ultimate career goal, is to be somebody's wife, right? And I'm like, no. And then they would be like, you are 18, shouldn't you be married by now? So the first time I would hear it, the second time I would ignore it. The third time I would turn and say, why do you have a good boy in mind that I should talk to my parents about? And then they would be like, oh my God, this Chauhan girl is too smart for her own good. And I'm like, it was a no-win situation. But I think I kind of enjoyed it, because you could give it back to people. And that was it. I mean, even when I came here to go to the CIA, which is the Culinary Institute of America, before you guys think I'm anything cooler than a chef. And right after graduation, I graduated on the top of my class, and I couldn't get a job, because in our industry, sponsorship of work visas was just not done. So the struggles have been there. I think there are going to be struggles in each and every career that you decide to just put your heart and soul in. The idea is just to be very, very focused about what you are doing, and take any opportunity that comes your way. I have a big problem of saying yes, and those yeses have always led to absolutely incredible journeys. I mean, if I wouldn't have said yes to just coming and discovering the Nashville market, like I wouldn't have had 4 restaurants over here and 3 breweries, and so explore and always say yes to any opportunities that come your way. Do your due diligence, but just don't say no because it just seems so far-fetched. Who would have thought that a girl from Ranchi would be sitting on, would be a regular judge on Food Network? I mean, I wouldn't have thought that. but just say yes and explore each and every opportunity that comes your way.
Awesome. Excellent. I mean, you make it sound so easy. What am I going to say? There is another question from Prerna Chauhan, and one of the reasons believed to make Indian food popular in the UK was Indian Cookery with Madhur Jaffrey in 1983. This show introduced Indian cuisine, spices, and traditions to the British audience. How about similar show? So again, I'm gonna leave it up to Maneet to answer. Yes.
I mean, Prerna, I would love to. I mean, I pitch on a regular basis. I do think that the trick over here to introduce Indian food to a larger mainstream audience is to make it a lot more approachable. For example, at Chauhan over here, we have a dish which is called chicken tikka poutine, which people just come in and just order that with our beers, right? And it's a kind of an entry into Indian flavors. I think it is going to be baby steps. Nashville is famous for its hot chicken, right? It's a religion over here. So fine, we have a hot chicken pakoda, right? With some local ingredients. And I think that is, okay, again, in my estimation, I think the way to get Indian food into the mainstream is by respecting the local traditions and the local foods and adapting it to the Indian flavors. So I mean, I would love to do a show. If you have any ins, let me know.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I could be a sous chef. I could do the dishes. Something, anything. Okay, let's see. Huh? Say what? I missed the comment. Anyways, so next question is from Deanne, and Deanne is right here, so I'm going to let her ask the question directly.
Sonny, thank you so much for this opportunity. I've been so excited all day. So Chef Maneet, it's so nice to meet you. I even put something on my Facebook, and then my friends gave me questions to ask you. So we're all very excited. But not only are you introducing your culture in food and tastes, and even developing these local traditions into Indian food, we love your style, the jewel tones you wear. I know this is a bit superficial, but it seems like even with your dishes, you're so careful with the details, and we love your jewelry. And do you have a stylist?
Oh my God. You know what? Okay, to tell you the truth, each and every show that I do does have a wardrobe person, but more often than not, like when I did the Tournaments of Champions, all of these chef coats, which are
beautiful,
which are Zardozi, which are Indian, fabrics and stuff, they are mine. And the reason is, I am fiercely proud of where I am from. India is such a gorgeous country which has beautiful, textures and, jewelry. There's so much of art and there is so much of culture behind it. So for not a single moment in my life have I ever run away from the fact of where I am from, right? If you can't pronounce my name, too bad. I try to learn how to pronounce your name. You learn how to pronounce my name. I'm not going to change the pronunciation of my name, right? This is who I am. So, and that manifests in what I wear, be it my earrings, be it the way I'm sure by now you've realized I'm all about drama, be it how I talk, be it, my parents always call me the drama queen. So I kind of live up to that reputation. But it just boils down to the fact that I am fiercely proud of who I am, and it manifests in everything, in the way I, present myself. The thing about my earrings is that in the morning when I get up, the tougher day I am having, the larger the earrings I wear. So it's almost underlying message to my entire team. If they see me walking with really big earrings, they know that they should keep away from me. Right, Meredith? You remember all about that.
I was just about to chime in and say, I remember a lot of large earrings every day, all day. And I think I started to mimic you at some point towards the end. Yeah. I haven't worn such large earrings in a very long time.
We need to inspire you again to do it.
Thank you, Chef Maneet. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, Diane. So there are many questions. I think this guy, Darpan has a question. Darpan, are you here? Do you want to go live? Okay, I'm not sure if he's here. But,
he is here, but he's on mute.
Okay.
I think he unmuted himself. Hey, Darpan.
How you doing, Maneet? So great to watch you on here. I've enjoyed going to Vermilion in Chicago and at Vermilion here in New York. My question is, when you, one is, where do you find the inspiration to fuse your flavors from? Because it's not always a natural instinct for, you know, anybody. So there has to be that desire to experiment. And when you are experimenting with your recipes, at one point do you say, this is perfect or this is a bit too much?
Darpan, do you mind me asking, what do you do?
I do film and television production.
Okay. So Darpan, I have absolutely no idea what you do, right? But you still find the inspiration because you have done that all your life. To me, that is what food is about. It literally started off with an obsession of eating, which is an obsession which continues till date. I love eating. I would finish dinner at home and then go to my neighbor's house and tell them that my parents hadn't fed me, so can I eat with you? And that's how I would, like, we had neighbors from South India or from Maharashtra. So it was really a beautiful melting pot. And I would just go into the kitchen and learn cooking from the aunties. So, so to me, when I was younger, and I really, I hope you get the opportunity to come to Nashville and try my food right now, because you do evolve with time, right? In whatever you do, and so has my food. So it's really interesting. I am constantly experimenting. I'm constantly talking to people. Recently, I've been traveling a lot. And, you know, and at times there's something that clicks. You know, I have a really funny story. I went to, I think 2 years back, I went to Peru, and we were going to Machu Picchu, and we were staying in this small place called Urumbamba, literally a village. In the afternoon, you know, the rest of the people who were with me, they're like, we're taking a nap. I'm like, I am in Lima. I'm not taking a nap, right? I'm going and looking for llamas. So I just I walked across to the Mercado, which was the local market. And I don't know Spanish, or let me rephrase, my Spanish is not fit for polite company. So what I literally did was I walked to the Mercado, and there are all of these potatoes and stuff. And there is this old lady who reminded me of my grandmom, and she was selling potatoes. Needless to say, like half an hour later, my husband found me selling potatoes with her while she was making some form of aloo tikkis, which are potato croquettes. I couldn't speak a word of English of Spanish, and she couldn't speak a word of English, but we connected over food. And that to me is what is so incredibly powerful about food, that you can not speak the same language, but you can just connect over your obsession of food. So to me, that is the inspiration. I get inspiration from everywhere and anywhere. But when I make a dish, I have realized that I'm old enough not to be arrogant about my dish, right? I might think that it is the most amazing idea, right? But everybody around me would say, you know, would be like, yeah, okay. A lot of people never tell me that it's not a good dish. That's where my dear husband comes into play, right? He does go around telling everybody that, you know, I'm married to a woman who works with knives for a living, but he still takes the panga and he still goes ahead and very honestly tells me that this will work or this will not work. When we were opening Chauhan, I did not want to put a chicken tikka masala on the menu. I'm like, it is so mainstream, I'm not going to put it. Oh God, we had an epic fight about it. Today, it is our highest selling item, and he reminds me that on a daily basis, right? That was a fight that I lost, but but then as a chef, you start making that switch on becoming a restaurateur, and you have to realize that you're not feeding your ego, you're feeding your audience. And that's where your entire team comes into play.
I'm gonna quickly ask you a question. I think most people probably don't realize this, but you do contribute a lot to humanity. So please tell us a little bit about your charitable, givings and how you're contributing to the society right now. I keep reading about it, and hats off to you. Hats off.
I think all of us do a bit. I think recently it's been, with this entire COVID craziness going on, it's been very difficult, especially on the hospitality industry. Actually, on all the industries, but I think hospitality was the first line, of defense which fell. And we in this industry we are crazy and we are passionate, and your restaurant family is your family. So when all of this happened, I mean, we literally had to, let go of over 250 people, which was, I think it was emotionally very, very traumatizing. But what was very important for me was to make sure that being in the food industry, none of my team members or anybody, at least in the local hospitality industry, is food insecure, because that would absolutely suck. So recently that was one of the biggest things that we did. We just went ahead, started, mobilizing, working with our vendors, making sure, I mean, there was a day that in our parking lot, we got around 550 pallets of vegetables and fruits. And we just made it a point that that everybody was taken care of. Again, that's something that I'm doing at a micro level, because I on a larger level, anybody asks me anything, I'm like, yes, absolutely, we can do this. But I think given the moment right now, what we need to do is we need to strengthen our local community, and then everything else starts getting stronger. So, like I keep on saying, Chauhan strong, Morph strong, Nashville strong, Tennessee strong, USA strong, world strong. And I think all of us really need to step up and do our small bit over here. And you know what, there are a lot of people who do so much more than I do, but I can just, whatever I can do, I do.
I have a question from Jiju Nair, who's on Facebook Live. He's a Keralite, as you can guess. His question is, rather, his gripe is, there's a dearth of varied fish recipes from India in the US. As a Keralite, I know that you have about 100 ways to make fish. What is preventing their exposure in the US?
What's his name?
Jiju Nair.
Jiju. So Jiju Nair, this is, thank you for giving me the segue into shamelessly pitching for my upcoming book, which is coming, which is available on Amazon for pre-sale. But okay, so this book is called Chaat. And this is beyond chaat being the street food that we know. It is chaat as the sensation, because chaat means to lick when you translate it from Hindi. And growing up in India, I used to take a lot of train journeys. From Ranchi, we would go to Bangalore or to Ludhiana, or when I was in college, from Manipal, I would look forward for these train journeys, because each and every stop, the local vendors would come to sell, the food. And I would be like, oh my God, Chennai, I've got to have the curd rice. Or, whenever we would go to Kerala, I had to have the Kerala fish fry. So there is the Kerala fish fry recipe in my book. And I absolutely agree with you. My mommy is from Kerala, and she makes the most incredible crab curry and shrimp curry and moili. I mean, it's incredible. It's mouth-watering. I mean, like we do fish preparations as specials on our menu. So when you come to Nashville, let me know. I'm going to make an amazing Kerala fish curry, and I promise you it is not going to have any Punjabi influence in it. It'll be authentic Kerala.
We have another question from Sangeeta Agarwal, and this is like, I get this a lot. How do you politely answer the question, does this have curry? I find it hard to explain that curry is not a spice used in Indian cooking.
Very loudly say that there is nothing known as beeping curry powder in traditional Indian cooking, right? There isn't. It is a blend of spices. I mean, there are some curry powder spices that I've seen which have celery seeds in it, and celery seeds is not traditionally found in Indian cooking, right? So there is a part of me which respects the fact that there is curry powder, because that kind of, in a very vague way, introduces people to kind of sort of flavor of Indian food, and people kind of become a little bit more bold into, foraying into the world of Indian cuisine. But if you really want to make authentic Indian food, I always inspire people that just go ahead and get, 4 or 5 different spices, and you can just make basic dishes, which doesn't need to be, which really doesn't need to have curry powder in it. And that being said, if you're really desperate about using curry powder and there's a recipe which doesn't have, which doesn't call for any other alternative, use sambar powder instead. And MTR sambar powder is the best.
Yes, okay, this is such a cheesy question, but who was your inspiration? I mean, I can tell you my inspiration was my mom, because I used to watch her cooking in the kitchen all the time. So who was your inspiration?
To me, I get inspiration from everywhere. Like, it used to be it, the street vendors, be it our neighbors, be it guests who come to the restaurant. I just when I go and talk to them, as you can see, I love talking. I'm like, which is your favorite food memory? Tell me an ingredient that you've never, that you remember, you associate your childhood with. But you know how Indian households are, right? When you are, if it's, during the holidays, right? All the cousins, all the uncles and aunties, everybody's together. And you start the day with, what do we make for breakfast? And on the breakfast table, the conversation is going on, what do we make for lunch? And lunch table conversation is, what are we making for dinner? Right? So it's amazing. Every summer, winter holiday, we would go to, Ludhiana, Punjab, and Dadima would make, roti dough, and then she would send us to the corner where there was a person with a tandoor, and he would make the tandoori rotis, and we would bring that back, and she would have this lovely mutton curry or, goat curry or something. So I think food is just such an integral part of everything. So I get inspired with anybody. I'll get inspired from this conversation that we are having.
What's your favorite beer?
Mantra.
I knew that. I knew the answer.
Oh, again, another shameless pitch. Saffron, cardamom, IPA. Oh my God.
Okay, what's your favorite spice?
At the present moment, chaat masala. You can use it anything, everywhere.
What's your favorite dessert?
A favorite dessert? We have this amazing dessert in Chauhan, which is a gulab jamun cheesecake. So I was going to ask you. It's the
I saw that on your Instagram.
Exactly. And it is like incredible.
Okay, listen. So now my question to you is, what's your favorite memory of childhood? What do you remember? I mean, what do you like, my favorite is like basically sitting in the sunlight outside in the summer and, sucking on mangoes.
One of my favorite memories is, when my grandmom would come to visit, and I was not allowed to climb the mango tree by my mom because, I've had each and every broken bone, each and every scrape, everything, right? So every time Dadima would come, she would be like, Manu charja, like, climb the tree. And I would break all of these mangoes. And then these were raw mangoes. And then we would take it to the local market where there was a lady who would cut these mangoes because, you have to cut it through the seed and the stone is very hard. And then we would bring it back and then just put it on, sun dry it. And then she would make like mango pickle out of it.